It took me a long time to build up the courage to finally tell you guys this story. And I think after 2 years, it's finally time. The story that I'm about to tell you is 100% true. I'm not going to exaggerate or stretch the truth to make it seem more interesting. This story isn't scripted. I didn't write down my thoughts. I'm simply going to explain to you in full detail of the events that took place over the course of, 10, 15 years. Starting from the beginning. So, this started when I was 16 years old. I was living in Camden, New Jersey, in this pretty bad neighborhood, an old apartment complex that happened to be right across from some train tracks. For context, I lived literally a couple blocks away from the train station in that area, and I would say maybe every 20 or 30 minutes, a train would go by, and it would make this really loud rumbling sound. It would shake the entire apartment, which, during the day it was annoying, but at night, sort of made it hard to sleep. This night in particular was a little different. It was, I would say, the summer of 2009, 2010. I woke up in the middle of the night, I would say around 3:30 in the morning. It was very weird because it was quiet. Now, at this time, it wasn't strange that the train wasn't rumbling by at, 2, 3 in the morning because, well, it's 2, 3 in the morning. But the entire world was quiet. There were no crazies on the street or no sirens. Everything was just calm. I don't know what woke me up, but I guess I sensed a disturbance. For some odd reason, something compelled me to get out of bed and go check on my mother. My room was right down the hall from my mother's room, and it was actually a straight shot. So I get out of bed and I run to my mother's room. I peek in just for a sec, and then I run back to my room and get back into bed. Now, that doesn't seem so weird, right? Well, the weird part was, I ran very fast in that moment, faster than I knew I was capable of, and my footsteps were quiet. Not even the floor creaked as I took steps. To run so fast at a speed that I wasn't capable of and so quiet was impossible. But I didn't even realize that because something else had also caught my attention. I had an old bed at the time, and every time I would get in or out of the bed or even sit down on the bed, any kind of pressure on the bed would make the bed squeak really loudly, old springs and whatnot. So when I got back into bed, of course, it made that loud creaking sound. But after I got settled in the bed and I was ready to go back to sleep, that creaking continued as if someone was gradually pushing down on the bed, constantly putting pressure, and it would just make this long creaking sound. And that's when I was just like, wait a minute, what the hell's going on? But before I could even react, before I could even open my eyes, it hit me. I don't know what it was, but it was just this sensation, this feeling of like electricity surging throughout my body up into my head, and it just paralyzed me. I tried to open my eyes, but I couldn't. Um, it was like something was holding them shut. No matter how hard I tried, I could not open my eyes. Even when I got my eyelids, a little bit open, my eyeballs would just roll back into my head. And then I started to panic. I tried to scream for my mother. It's actually kind of funny. A 16-year-old me crying for his mom. I was a tough kid. I really was, but this scared the shit out of me. Why did it scare the shit out of me? Because even though I cried for my mother, not a sound came out of my voice. I could feel myself screaming. I could feel the words vibrating off my vocal cords, but not a sound came out. And then, my body started to rise off my bed. And oh my gosh, even though my eyes were closed, even though I couldn't see what was going on because I was facing the wall, because my bed was pushed up against the wall, I was facing the wall, my eyes were closed, I felt myself rise off the bed. I heard the bed creak as my body lifted off. I felt the blanket that was covering me draping over my floating body like a tablecloth. I am terrified at this point. Absolutely terrified. I can't open my eyes to see. I can't scream because no noise will come out of my voice. I can't move. There's a surge, this electrical surge of energy just flowing through my body up to my head, and it feels fucking weird. It really felt fucking weird. To add a little bit more context, I grew up in a very religious household, strictly Christian household. I practically lived at church, and yet I wasn't religious. But I could only think of one other solution. Now you would think I would start praying, but I didn't. I just screamed, Jesus, Jesus, over and over again, knowing no sound was coming out, but hoping that, if there was a God, maybe he'd know that I really need some help right now, because it feels like I'm being possessed. And then just like that, right as I was screaming his name, Jesus, Jesus, my body fell onto my bed. Like I felt my body drop. I've heard the squeaking of my bed. I bounced up because, still springy, even though the bed's old. And I was able to move. I was able to speak. I was able to see. I didn't even sit up. I was too terrified to move, but I knew I regained my ability to move, but I was just too scared to. I just laid in bed, eyes wide, staring at my wall in complete darkness. Because even though it was all over, I still felt a presence there, standing there, looming over me, after doing God knows what to me. And that was only the beginning. Like I said, I grew up very religious, and I really didn't know anything about sleep paralysis at that time. So my first thought was, holy shit, it's real. Demons are real, and one just tried to possess me. And somehow I was able to fight it off. That was the first time that happened to me. But it sure as hell wasn't the last. It gets way, way more terrifying. Deadass. Fast forward a few days, something else weird happened in that apartment, in that room. Bonus. So, I'm laying in bed. It's a different night. Laying in bed, and I hear this voice. Clear as day, I hear this voice of a woman. She said, I thought you loved me. you said we would be together forever. I wasn't even like almost asleep yet. I was just laying in bed. And I opened my eyes, cause like what the actual fuck was that? And I see this transparent silhouette of a naked woman walking away out of my room. Full detail as well, it was a naked woman just walking out of my room. Long hair, petite body. Nice ass though. It was weird, but definitely worth mentioning. Especially, a couple days after all that crap happened. I mean, if you guys want to hear more, you know what to do. Hit that like button, comment, share with your friends. Subscribe. And until next time, I'll be seeing you, I guess. I'm not even gonna edit this. I'm just gonna fucking post it.